And so my wife got to go, and I was banned and got reports secondhand. And so all of a sudden it became obvious the protagonist has to be a woman. And so I based Nora Carlton on my oldest daughter, Maureen, but also on my other three girls. It's not exactly Maureen, but I've tried to draw from all of them. And it did something to me in the writing because it wasn't about me. All of a sudden it was a labor of love. And I'm telling a story and I'm picturing my daughter and trying to channel her and capture her. And it made it addictive for me.
Right. And in the real world today, in law enforcement and in the underworld, I mean, I think women play a bigger role in law enforcement than they did 20 years ago. In the underworld, I don't see it. But one of the central figures here in the book is a woman. We're not giving too much away.
Yeah, I got strong women who are good.
Right.
As Nicole Wallace said, the good guys and the bad guys are women.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. And I'm trying to capture something. I don't want to give too much away. But
the other thing that struck me, we're talking about honor and loyalty and rules of law. The woman gangster here does have a code that she lives by. And there's a couple situations in the book where she's got a rogue half-brother that's gone off the reservation, and she's approached by an investigator, and she brings him back in line.
She tries to act in accordance with principles. And what I'm trying to capture there is something you know really well, is all people want to tell ourselves we're doing things that have meaning and purpose and principle. And mob people really were, in my experience, people who would tell themselves, I'm a soldier, right? I'm a warrior. I mean, I once had a Mafia hitman who was on trial pass me a note, and I thought it was him trying to flip. In fact, it might have been, but it didn't work out. But I opened the note, and it said I'd gotten a recognition from the Bar Association in New York during this 6-month trial, and it said, "Dear Mr. Comey, I read of your award. It is well-deserved," and signed his name. And so why did he do that? I think because he fancies himself, I'm a warrior, you're a warrior, I respect my opponent, and so it was a way of almost giving himself dignity. And I saw that a lot with Costra Nostra people, and some of them really believed the principles and rules. For others, they were like the rules against fighting in hockey, where they're on the books, but we don't really abide those rules. And it's a way, I think, of them convincing themselves, this life I've chosen is a life of principle and purpose.
Yeah, there's a very simple line toward the end of the book where the hit woman says, "We keep our promises," which kind of encapsulates that whole, her mindset of who she was and what she was about.
Yeah, and there still are people like that, and we're a lot of people in that world like that. I mean, I joke about the rules, but my personal favorite of the rules of Cosa Nostra is, in the United States, is we don't harm law enforcement.
Right.
And that's not because of any moral judgment. That's because they did not have that rule in the Sicilian Mafia and still don't. And the difference is explained, in my opinion, by the power of the state. That if you harm law enforcement in the United States, we will crush you. It'll take us a while to get organized, but the state is so large, the police departments are so large. I remember being in a case, a guy named Gus Ferracci, probably accidentally killed a DEA agent named Everett Hatcher in New York in 1988. And the moment Special Agent Hatcher was killed, a race began to find the killer, us and Cosa Nostra.
Right.
And they found him first, and he was shot in the face with an automatic weapon on the street and left on the street as a message.
Right.
And lots of cops and agents were told thereafter, this is done, right?
Yeah.
We took care of this. And so they're really, and in Sicily, of course, the reverse is true, that they killed prosecutors and law enforcement with impunity because they could. But here the rule was self-interested, but I'm not against that rule.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.